Are we all settled back in, colleagues, and ready to get started? So nice to see everyone here in the chambers with us on this beautiful evening, and see my colleagues again. We just finished up our committee of the whole meeting around 25 minutes ago. So nice to have everybody back. I'm going to officially call to order the City Commission business meeting for Monday, July 7th, 2025. And our first order of business is roll call. Clerk Borling.
Commissioner Cooney. Commissioner Decker. Here. Commissioner Hoffman.
Present.
Commissioner Pradel. Present. Commissioner Wilson. Present. Vice Mayor Hess.
Present.
Mayor Anderson.
Here. Thank you, Clerk Borling. May I have a motion to excuse Commissioner Cooney? Motion made by Commissioner Decker.
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Pradel. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Thank you. Motion passes. So we are always honored to start our opening ceremonies here by having somebody present who tries to help get us all off on the right foot and think about the important work that we're doing. And we are honored tonight to have the Reverend David Zomer from Bethany Reformed Church here with us. Just as a reminder, I will ask everyone to stand while he provides an invocation and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Reverend Zomer.
Let's bow our heads. We come before you, great Lord, to acknowledge that there is a power higher than each one of us. As we look upon the Art Deco representation of the Ten Commandments on the wall above our head, help us to remember the rules that are passed down from generation to generation through so many different faiths and traditions of respect and caring for each other. I ask for blessing upon each one of these commissioners, for their time, for their emotions, for their love of this city. We ask for a blessing upon our city as we go into a hot and sticky summer. May you protect each one of us and its dear citizens in peaceful love. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks again, Reverend Zomer. I appreciate it. It is often the case that we have proclamations where we have an opportunity to recognize important work and important institutions here in Kalamazoo, and we have such a proclamation this evening. It is for the 2025 National Day of Summer Learning. So expensive, not so important. Actually, not expensive when you think about it. Expensive to not participate in summer learning. So important that all of us, and our young people in particular, have the opportunity to keep learning and growing even when school is not in session. So this evening, I think Bryn Road, am I saying that right? Rody? Rody, okay, say the E, not silent, is here to accept that, and you are here from KidNet, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, nice to have you here. I'm going to come down, and Commissioner Hoffman is going to be reading the proclamation.
Okay. Thank you for being here, Brenton. This 2025 National Day of Summer Learning, July 17th, 2025. Whereas high-quality summer learning opportunities are more important than ever in 2025. Across the city of Kalamazoo, we are coming together to ensure youth and families have access to inclusive, high-quality youth programming and critical support for young people to heal, lead, and thrive in the summer months. And whereas the National Day of Summer Learning recognizes the vital role of inclusive, high-quality summer programs in supporting young people to thrive, and whereas high-quality summer learning opportunities allow you to build lifelong social, emotional learning skills and return to school ready to learn in the fall. And whereas youth leadership and employment programs provide young people with real-world skills, mentorship, and meaningful opportunities to shape their futures and contribute to their communities. And whereas community partners, including schools, nonprofits, libraries, businesses, and youth themselves, are innovating to ensure all young people can access enriching, affirming, and culturally responsive summer experiences. Now, therefore, the 55th Kalamazoo City Commission does hereby proclaim July 17, 2025 as National Day of Summer Learning in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and do commend this observance to all of our citizens. Signed by David F. Anderson as mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you so much, Commissioner Hoffman. If you haven't heard of Kalamazoo Youth Development Network or KID Network, we're an intermediary for the out-of-school time sector here in Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties. And so how that operates is we provide program development coaching to over 60 programs to help them level up their staff and provide youth with the highest quality programming. We also help them make their programs more accessible to more youth, and we have community initiatives like a transportation project to make sure all young people can reach the programs that they benefit from. And so that's a little bit of what we do to talk about the National Day of Summer Learning. This is our biggest event of the year. We expect about 500 young people in Bronson Park next Thursday, July 17th, and it's a community event, so we hope all of you can attend. We will have youth performers from Unique Unity Dance Team, El Concilio, Move with Joy, and more. There will be a DJ, free food, and over 50 community vendors. So it'll be a really fun, big event, and we hope you all can make it. And the purpose of this event truly is to advocate for how critical these programs are and to maintain funding and support for our young people to thrive. Okay.
Next on our agenda is the adoption of the formal agenda. Commissioners, are there any items on the consent agenda, G, that would you like to have moved to the regular agenda, H? All right, seeing none, the agenda stands as is. Now is the opportunity for communications. COO Lamb.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things for this evening. I want to let you know the Fraze Park Summer Cinema movie had to be rescheduled because of weather. It's going to be this Friday, July 11th. It's going to be a free showing of Moana 2, and this is a real family-friendly event. Kicks off at 6 p.m. There's music, there's face painting, there's games, free concessions. Get there early while they last, and certainly a good opportunity to be out enjoying the summer weather. More information about the Summer Cinema series is available on our website, including an opportunity to vote for the movies that are being shown. I also wanted to start with the work on the Arcadia Creek project started today. This is the opportunity to rebuild and expand the capacity of the creek. What that means, we get utility upgrades, we get floodplain modifications. It also means impacts to all of us trying to travel about the city. So Westonage is going to be closed between Kalamazoo Avenue and Michigan Avenue through mid-August. There is a short detour through Michigan, but we recognize it gets frustrating when we see the construction cones go up. I'm not immune. I have to remind myself that what might be a small inconvenience means that we have transformational infrastructure improvements happening in our city. That's going to reduce our flood issues. It's going to be able to improve our infrastructure. So we ask for your patience and know that we have information about our projects available on the city's website, so you can track day to day. Lastly, I have the privilege of introducing our new Deputy City Manager. I'd like David Marquardt to come up to introduce himself. David is coming to us by the City of Grand Rapids, where for 10 years he served as the Parks and Rec Director. He has extensive experience in municipal leadership, not only in Grand Rapids, but also the City of Denver. In his new role, he's going to be supporting our Parks and Rec Department, our Public Services Department, and playing a key role in supporting our communications team. So please join me in welcoming David, and we'd love to have you share a few words.
Thank you very much, Laura. And good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. It's a privilege to be here. It's a privilege to hold this position. I'm deeply honored, and I'm pleased to say that early on in my career in the private sector, I learned very early that reputation is everything, and you are only as good as your last project. If you were to translate that to public service and the work that we do here, and the work that I've done in other cities, organizations, that translates to the services that we provide. We are really only as good as the last service that we provide, how pleased the residents are that they are with our service, in addition to how welcoming we are to visitors, tourists, and newcomers to our cities as well. And I'm very pleased to say that all of those things that I've heard about Kalamazoo before arriving here today, before arriving for my interviews, has been very positive. About all of you, about the work that's done here, the residents that are here in this city as well, and I'm just absolutely pleased to be a part of this organization and the leadership team here in the city of Kalamazoo. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome.
Thank you.
That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now is an opportunity on the agenda for public comments on any item that is important to you. Just been asked to say a little bit more about public comments, because this is not a time when we engage in dialogue, but it is an opportunity for you to express something here in a public business meeting to the Kalamazoo City Commission. The limit is 4 minutes. That's the time that you have here for public comment. A reminder, though, for those who might see people and comment in public, say whatever happens after that. Well, a couple things. If you would like to be contacted relative to your concerns, make sure you do sign in on our sign-in sheet over here, just the other side of our clerk, with a way to contact you, email, that sort of thing. And oftentimes, if there is an item that is specific to a concern relative to one of our departments, there are staff people here from the city of Kalamazoo that sit in the back that sometimes can engage with you about that specific concern. So your comments are obviously recorded. They're part of our agenda, and there are certainly opportunities for follow-up if you so desire. Is there anyone who wants to make a public comment this evening?
Hello again. I was here at the meeting as a whole, but I guess I didn't make it enough time to talk. Thank you, those who stood up about the flooding. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for speaking out. I'm worried about I like the house idea, but I'm worried about if you build it up higher and you put that kind of cement, that kind of pavement that you put down at KVCC growing field, the water's going to go to the lowest point, which is going to be more water on us. I have no problem with you building, but do something about the flooding. I see all this money, $400,000 for the Arcadia Creek Festival site. That amount of money could fix the flooding. For once and all, it could fix the problem, and you wouldn't have a problem, and we wouldn't have a problem. But the more green spaces you take away and the more you build in my neighborhood, the more flooding you cause for us. I'm sorry I keep coming with the same old sob story, but it's no fun if it's going to rain, worrying if you're going to be able to get out your house. What if you have an emergency? You can't get out. You're trapped. You have to wade through way over knee-deep water just to get out of the neighborhood. And it's not even flooded in front of my house because of that little natural green space, the one that we need to save, the one that helps us with flooding. And another thing, man, what happened this weekend? I thought crime was down in Kalamazoo. We had 8 shootings in 1 day and a half. 8. 1 person died. What are we going to do about all this crime? It's ridiculous. You're not safe to go anywhere, and you want to open up all these events and all these things, and you know there's a problem with crime in Kalamazoo. It's getting worse and worse and worse. I'm from here. Kalamazoo used to be a safe place to live. You could go out and walk whenever you wanted to. You can't no more. It's not safe for anybody, especially children. Children are out there getting in trouble right and left. I work in an apartment complex when one of your commissioners came and did a great big huge bounce house, did a water slide, had some music playing, was cooking out for them. The kids were so excited about it, so excited. But this was before the 8 shootings. And there's been a lot of shootings at this same place. I haven't been able sometimes to go feed the children there because there's been an active shooter on scene. And where I work at in the summertime, there's a lot of little kids running around without their parents. A lot of them. They come down, I feed them, they hang out with us, but they're mostly by themselves. So we need to do something about the crime. We need to do something about the flooding. Please. It's time for change, guys. And the more you build, like I said, the more you hurt us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Lena Shorter, and I am the co-founder, co-lead of Lean on Healing with Healing on Purpose. I come to this work with lived experience as both a parent and a survivor. For years, I lived in survival mode. I did everything I could to provide for my family, but I didn't realize how emotionally unavailable I had become. I didn't realize the way that my own unaddressed trauma was shaping how I parented, how it showed up in my home and in my children, in my reactions. And it wasn't until I began my own healing journey that I saw a real change. When I got better, my kids got better, my household was healthier, and that shift showed me that healing isn't just personal, it's generational. And that truth is what gave birth to Lean on Healing with Healing on Purpose. At Lean on Healing with Healing on Purpose, we create spaces that where transformation is possible, especially for men, women, youth, parents, the entire family dynamic. This is for those who have been overlooked or who always don't fit into the traditional therapy models. So because the truth is not everyone starts their healing journey in a therapist's office. Sometimes it starts in a community with someone who sees them, who listens without judgment and helps them take that first step. We built a 16-week curriculum that is trauma and community informed, grounded in emotional intelligence and real-world needs. We work to break generational cycles, helping parents heal so their children have a chance to thrive. And when deeper support is needed, we connect families to trusted mental health professionals, and we also step in to meet the basic needs provided for essentials such as beds, clothing, food, because we know healing can't begin when you're still in survival mode. Our vision is simple but powerful. It's to normalize healing, to remove the stigma around mental health, and to redefine what therapy looks like, making it more accessible, more culturally relevant, and rooted in relationship. But to truly expand our reach, and get our name out here, that's why we're here tonight, to meet the growing needs that we see every day. We need meaningful support. We're actively seeking funding and partnerships to continue this work, to scale it up, and to deepen our impact. With the right resources, we can serve more families, we can train more leaders, and to keep pushing healing from a private struggle into a shared movement. We're not just responding to crisis, we're building a foundation of long-term change. Thank you for giving space to this work today. I hope that we can continue to build systems that create one big ecosystem that meet people where they are and move them forward to where they're meant to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Elisa Watkins Moreau. Hello, I am the co-founder and co-lead of Lean on Healing with Healing on Purpose. No one taught me how to be a parent or how to heal. I had to figure it out on my own. I became my own healer with my kids, so my kids wouldn't have to grow up needing to recover from me. And with this work for me, as a young parent and a parent learning how to heal, too many families don't get to excuse me, I'm a little nervous. Too many families don't get the same chance to repair what they fought so hard to rebuild, and that's very unacceptable. This is why we're here to create spaces where healing is possible, even with families that systems have failed. We are not waiting on perfect conditions. We're meeting parents where they are. This program, with program curriculum and real-life support to speak to the whole entire family. If someone needs therapy, we connect them. If they need beds, basic stability, we find it. Because you can't process trauma when you're still trying to survive. We at Lean on Healing with Healing on Purpose believe that when a parent heals, the family heals, and every family deserves a chance. The history of the project is very unique. We have known each other for almost 20 years, very unknowingly sharing the same vision. Mutual friends and family brought us together, and during the conversation we realized our vision was one of the same. Once we both shared our vision and passion behind it, we knew that this partnership was actually what the community needs. Our vision stemmed from our own life experience, personal journeys that led us to our life of purpose, reflected in our education studies and what we do for work. We know that the quality, skills, tools, and knowledge that we've gained in our lives and education is exactly what we can use to redefine and foster the change in our community. We both work in the community in institutions. I work as a behavioral specialist in KPS. I'm on the GVI community outreach team, and I serve on the board of Open Roads. Lena works with nonprofit organization Bent Not Broken and her own business empowering women. In the work we do, we both have seen firsthand the disconnect of the system between youth and families. Traumatic experiences, community and violence has played a part in dysfunction of families, and it is all-time high in showing up at schools and in our community. We want better. We want our community. We as a community has to do better. We have the community promise, we have the Kalamazoo promise, but our community can't even promise that we can make it to the age to where we can use the promise or benefit from the promise. This is where Lean on Healing and Healing on Purpose comes in to bridge that gap and meet individuals and youth where they are. The overall structure of getting therapy calls for insurance, authorization, stigma, and bias, leaving individuals feeling discouraged, uninterested, and unapproached, makes therapy a community resource, removing the tradition. Lean on Healing with Healing on Purpose wants to heal families and allow our community to see what it looks like, one family at a time. We are broken, dark. Let's turn the light on together and heal our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, I'm Jody Dozeman. I still had the same interest. I'm just wondering about progress, and I don't know where to go with it. And I have transportation. These roads really need to be patched up. You have holes where motorcycles could trip over, and it should be done among the whole city in an organized situation. It's needed out there in the paint jobs, the hospital. You can't even see the lines where you're supposed to stop. And then they have those blinking lights, stop signs. They should have that for the bus lines, the blinking lights. That'd be nice. Somebody could turn it on, the bus would know to stop for them. I've seen the bus leave people in the dark for a long walk. I don't know, I should write up all this stuff, but I don't think my writing was the best. Last time I turned something in, I went to the library before I came here, and I guess I didn't look strong enough, and I just put things together. So Had a couple mistakes in there. But what should I do about the roads? Who should I go to? I've called. I've tried, they want names. What should I do? Tape a chain around my motorcycle gas tank and write them down as I go? I think something should be organized. It's needed. You got some bad spots out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be here tonight and good to see all familiar faces. I'm Jonathan Yarbrough. I'm the new director for the NACD in Kalamazoo, and I just wanted to simply come up here and introduce myself, just see, put a face to an eye, and just making sure that you guys know who I am personally. So I also want to share just an event that we're going to be having next week. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with a community information session with the Kalamazoo Event Center, and so that's going to be at the NACD next Tuesday, July 15th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Again, next Tuesday, July 15th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Pleasure to meet everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome. Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Maggie Adams, and I do reside in the city, and I'm a member of Isaac. And I definitely look forward to your comments later tonight, this evening. I really want to start it to say by thank you for the recommendations of Willow Sipling and Josh DeBoer to the Civil Rights Board, and I look forward to seeing this board being able to live into its mission. I'm also grateful for the selection of the research firm Raftellus as the city starts its next steps in the selection process of the next city manager. But I also hope you've had some time, like me, to sort of debrief the process that's been used so far. I mean, we're looking at that we want to select a city manager that can actively incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusivity into all aspects of the role as not only the city manager, but who they are even in their operations. So it would seem like it would start also with a process that you're using here as a city commission in selection. So a few things stood out to me so far. A lack of transparency. We never saw the rubric used, despite asking myself for a copy. So we really didn't have anything to measure up to how you selected your firms. We were never clear about the timeline until we listened to you guys talk at a meeting here about when we could then come give input on the city of the whole meeting, and then even then that wasn't clear. So we're hoping that we're not an afterthought, that you really do want input from us in the community, and that you'll take some time to think about how you are going to collect that information from us. And then just the questions, like we're not even clear about the questions that you're asking the firms when they did their presentation. Sort of listening though, seems like there was a bit of a theme that you asked from them. And then you guys had 7 questions that you asked each firm. And then I think a few of you had your own questions that appeared to be, from the most part, based on that you needed clarity about something a firm said. And in my experience as an administrator, when you're interviewing candidates, asking the same questions ensures fairness and minimizes bias. But I did notice that one individual asked a question only to the 3rd firm, how long have you worked there? That question was not asked of any other firm, and to me that's problematic. It shows a bit of a bias, especially the 3rd firm, who we already know spoke to you about the inequity, about the time. So you put that on top of that, you know, it's problematic. So my question then, as you move forward collectively as a group in this process of interviewing your candidates, how are you going to ensure fairness and minimize the risk of subjective judgments and unconscious bias in your questionings? And then the last part is just the timeline. Again, can't something be posted on the city's website about the timeline where you're at with things? We know that Raftellus is going to be interviewing each of you in the different parts of the city. So we're just curious, like, can't that be put up maybe someplace, the process where you're at, so we can just look at that? And then the key thing also is Raftellus said that they wanted to also interview key stakeholders. The question to me, to you guys, is who's a stakeholder to you? Are they standing behind me? How do you get key input from different people in the stakeholders? I just want us to think about this ahead of time before it gets here. How do you collectively get input from the community, from the different parts of the city that I can guess you are probably sitting right behind me today? These are just a few of my thoughts. I definitely look forward to working with the commission and helping find a new city manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening to our mayor, our vice mayor, commissioners, city staff. My name is Charlotte Davis, and I do live in Kalamazoo and work with Isaac. First, I want to thank the mayor and our vice mayor for attending the Douglas Day of Healing. And if anybody else attended and I didn't see you, my apologies. One of my favorite prompts that day was as follows: share a time where you stayed silent when you could have spoken up about injustices, or a time you did speak up, what did or did not happen. And I definitely want to leave that with all of us to be able to reflect on. For some, this was a holiday weekend, and though it's not a holiday that I celebrate, I do honor that holidays are supposed to bring joy. I do have to honor and lift all those valued loved ones who were lost, those who are suffering this week in our community, in our neighboring communities, in our neighboring states, in our country, nationwide, internationally, all those who are suffering. And may our communities wrap our arms around all who are impacted so that no one suffers alone. Over a month ago, I stood before you and I stated that we had awoken to a concerning federal attack. And it's a reminder to us that in our beloved community, things have already gotten bad. And we have to be prepared for the worst. That's what I shared about a month ago. This past weekend, though, many advocated, which is awesome, worse presented itself again. So my ask to you all as elected officials, and actually to all in government, all who are in decision-making roles, as we know our local community is a microcosm of our nation, or it can be, my ask is that we think about what needs to be done locally to ensure that we are not centering systems, nor the comfort of systems, but that we are centering the equitable well-being of people, centering the equitable well-being of humans, centering the equitable well-being of our loved ones, centering the equitable well-being of community members who are impacted, those who are struggling, those who are suffering, our community members, beloved community members, and that we find value in all of our community members, all of us, and not prioritize systems and institutions over our beloved community members. And taking into account that our existing disparities, we know that they are already here locally, we can't sugarcoat that, but they threaten to become worse unless we are intentional about naming them, acknowledging them, and dismantling these inequitable systems. You all, this is not the time that any of us can be silent. We have to intentionally name it, acknowledge it, and work to dismantle that which is not a part of our beloved community. This is the time.
Thank you. Next, please.
I'm Kay, and I want to start off by saying that I got a concern from a few citizens who had been told from the farmers market about 2 weeks ago or so. They said that the signage down there was not very clear, and that once they reached out to the city, that all they got was information from the towing company, because they didn't even have that. And so they ended up losing about $300. For those that could afford to take their car out, it was $300. If not, I hope that people had the funds. But just getting that link and not getting any assistance just speaks to the inactivity of this board. Like, we all have the power to like put some signage up, make it clear. Like, they were like really discouraged, like what's the point of going and then having to lose money? The signage is not right. It wasn't their responsibility. Like, they didn't know they could not park there, right? So it's like the city, just the inaction. So the Shared Prosperity Board meeting minutes have not been posted in over a year. I feel like if we're talking about transparency, especially because it's part of the FFE, that those notes need to be there. Because what is it the Foundation for Excellence actually doing for Black, Brown, and Indigenous communities? The gun violence is up, housing is insecure, there's over 2,000 KPS students that are homeless, just what is the Foundation for Excellence doing for Black and Brown and Indigenous communities? Like, that's my question. Because then we hear about Arcadia. I was listening to the meeting earlier, and they were talking about the renovations for Arcadia. And I want to remind you that you use money for Black and Brown communities to jumpstart that project. Those $6 million belong to our communities, because those were the stipulations first. Before the parks, before all of those projects, it stated that you needed to use that money immediately. And you sat on it and then pretended like, oh, we just have to use it for something. So that shows the inaction. Like, every single step, everything you do just shows the inaction. You give us the bare minimum, but yeah, you can get an arena downtown, and you're gonna get a new Arcadia Park downtown, and it's gonna bring people to the city who can afford that. I want to know who can afford that. Okay, so there's no shared prosperity in the city. And like, it's just, it just nationally, it's so draining. It's so draining to be on this side, to be treated as the opposition every time, and like, all we're doing is fighting for our rights to exist. This city promised that they were a welcoming city, and we need y'all to stand with the people. We need to see your actions, every single one of you. Just because it's an election season doesn't mean that we're gonna forget how you've been treating people who are trying to do the work in this community, and the funding that people get. It's not enough. It's not enough. I've heard that from a lot of people. You have dedicated people in these organizations that just do not get enough to do what they actually want to do. But that's where you want to keep people, right? Because the point is not about a systemic overhaul. The point is about the city looking good. Okay, just like when you passed that housing ordinance and it didn't mean anything. Okay, these things need to start meaning something, because we are going to be in crisis mode soon. People are losing their food stamps benefit. People are going to lose Medicaid. What is the city going to do for their community if you have a foundation that is supposed to share the prosperity with us too? And we're getting left behind. No matter what you do and what you say, in your actions, we show it. You want to destroy green spaces for the bare minimum amount of housing. And we keep saying, I sound like a broken record, right? Because the Alice statistics, they speak for themselves. So like, do something, because like, what do we have left? If we can't trust y'all, we can't trust the government right now. So like, we're at a loss.
Thank you. Next, please.
My name is Maya Espinoza, and I live in the city. You guys seriously need to take this serious. I just seen a young man downtown and somebody recording him doing things because his mental state is not okay. He has been asking for help. His family has been asking for help from ISK. And their thing is, oh, maybe we can help them, maybe we can't help them. What is that? So y'all are waiting for a man that's in his late 20s to be killed or murdered or something because his mental health is not okay? It's not okay. So why do we even have ISK if it's not meeting the needs of our Black and brown people, our Black and brown community? What is it there? Is it a smoke screen just to say, hey, we have a mental health service that a mayor sits on the board and it doesn't do anything? But make sure that those that are white and empowered are taken care of. There are more people that live in the city that are beyond white and have money. There are many people in the city that are Black and brown that care about this community, that sit on boards, that be out here and make sure those that look like us and others that don't look like us are okay and are getting the things that are needed. So why, as us as citizens, are doing the job that you were voted in to do because you don't care about anybody unless they're a white man that has money? This city is more about wealth. It's about people that live in the city, our youth, our education, our mental health, housing. Housing is too damn expensive. But you guys are keep building things that aren't necessary to beautify Kalamazoo. It might look beautiful on the outside, but it looks ugly on the inside because of certain people that sit on some of these boards, and many boards that Mayor Anderson sits on and don't do anything unless it benefits him or people that look like him. Y'all as commissioners need to do better and start holding each other accountable. It's election year, and I promise y'all, I'm gonna be out here and making sure those that are not doing the work, that y'all are unseated by those that will do the work, because we do better. I have children. I have a grandchild. And they deserve better than what this board and what the people in this community need is people on these boards that give a damn. Not people that are holding these seats because they want a title. They want to look better. They want to say, hey, I sat on this board to reach for something higher. And you see what's going on in this nation. People that just want titles but don't want to do the work. I know for me, I love this community, and that's why I'm out here, no matter what time of day or night, making sure they have, even if it's the last dollar in my pocket. And that's what y'all should be doing. Y'all should be out here with us, but not just sitting in these seats. Just like I gotta go to court tomorrow. Why? Because I was taking an unhoused person to the hospital that was injured and got pulled over because I briefly stopped at a stop sign because this man needed to go to the hospital. And so now I'm gonna get a ticket because an unhoused person needed to go to the hospital. That's bullshit. And that's what y'all do. You don't give a damn about anybody that look like the white counterparts on this board. Do better.
Thank you. Next, please. Seeing no one else, then I'm going to be closing the public comment period. I just want to say thank you to everyone that took the time and made the effort to come down here and speak in our public city commission meeting. Thank you. Next is the consent agenda. COO Lamb.
Yes, first up, number 1, approval of a contract with EcoPatcher Incorporated for spray patching in the amount of $130,000. 2, approval of a contract supplemental and change order with Hurley and Stewart LLC for professional design engineering services related to the Burdick Street Improvement Project, Emerson to Lovell, in the amount of $184,640. 3, approval of a 10-year contract extension with Emphasis Software for the SimPro Investment Management Program in the amount of $245,902. 4, approval of a contract extension with Consumers Concrete Corporation for ready-mix concrete in the amount of $586,050. Approval of a contract supplemental and change order with Whiteman and Associates Incorporated for additional scope of services design work in support of the water reclamation plant secondary clarifier number 5 through number 8 rehabilitation project in the amount of $669,430. Number 6, approval of the transfer of a remote F6 explosives ordnance disposal, EOD, robot from the Grand Rapids Police Department Bomb Squad to the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety. 7, adoption of a resolution approving the appointments of Public Safety Chief of Staff Ryan Tibbetts and City Manager Jim Ritzema to the Kalamazoo County Consolidated Dispatch Authority Governing Board of Directors and associated committees. And 8, approval of the minutes from the City Commission meetings on May 12th, May 19th, June 2nd, June 16th, and June 23rd, 2025.
Thank you very much, COO Lamb. Commissioners, the requested action is a motion to approve items 1 through 8 and authorize the city manager to sign all related documents on behalf of the city. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Hoffman, supported by Commissioner Wilson. Clerk Burling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Decker.
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess. Yes. Mayor Anderson.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioners. The items on the consent agenda are approved. Next is the regular agenda. First item, H1, COO Lamb.
Approval of a professional services agreement with Tetra Tech for construction engineering for the Contract 1 Pump Station 5 and 14 Water and Transmission Mains project in the amount of $1,297,639.
Thank you, COO Lamb. Is there a staff report on this item?
We do not have a report, but we do have public services staff here to answer any questions if you have them.
Okay, thank you so much. So this is part of an extensive package of investments that we are making. We have been talking about quite a bit, but that said, is there anyone here on the commission that would like to ask a question of a staff member here about this particular item, H1? All right, thank you. Seeing no one, now is the opportunity for anybody who's here in the chambers to comment on this item specifically. If you would like to speak to item H1, please come forward, state your name, where you live in the city, and you'll have 3 minutes. Seeing no comments, the recommended action, Commissioners, is a motion to approve. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support?
Motion made by Commissioner Decker, supported by Commissioner Praedel. Discussion, Commissioners. Commissioner Praedel.
Got a stat that stuck out about these two pump stations last meeting was that effectively, like if, from a compliance perspective, these would have to come offline in a few years if we don't take action on them, and that it would impact about 2,800 gallons per minute of water, which was like 4 million gallons of water per day that would be impacted in our community, which would be quite significant. So I'll definitely be supporting this.
Thank you, Commissioner Praedel. Other discussion? Seeing none, Clerk Borley, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Praedel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item H2. COO Lamb.
Sorry about that, jump again. Approval of a contract with Peters Construction Company for utility improvements on Newton's Court, Fellows Avenue, and John Street in the amount of $2,488,541.77.
Once again, part of this large investment that we are making in a very, very important system. Any questions in particular from Commission on this? We do have city staff in the room that can respond. Anything? All right, seeing no one, is there anyone here in the chambers who would like to comment on this item? This item H2. Seeing no one, Commissioners, the recommended action is a motion to approve. Is there a motion? So moved. Motion made by Commissioner Wilson.
Support.
Supported by Vice Mayor Hess. Discussion? Commissioner Praedel.
Again, I'm happy to be supporting this. It's, looking at replacing drinking water and sanitary sewer assets that are in pretty rough shape. So I think this is a good call to make.
Thank you, Commissioner Praedel. Other discussion? Seeing none, Clerk Borley, please call the roll.
Commissioner Praedel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item H3, COO Lamb.
Approval of a professional services agreement with Tetra Tech for construction engineering for the Contract 2 Pump Station 5 and 14 reconstruction project in the amount of $3,724,152.
Thank you, COO Lamb. I presume same situation here. Staff's available. Any questions for staff from the Commission? Seeing none, is there anyone here in the chambers who would like to comment on this item? It is item H3 on the regular agenda. Seeing no one, the recommended action, Commissioners, is a motion to approve. Is there a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Decker.
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Praedel. Discussion?
Sure.
Vice Mayor.
Sure. All of these three items are significant, and like Commissioner Praedel said, these are things that municipal government is responsible for the people of Kalamazoo, bringing them fresh drinking water, clean drinking water, making sure our infrastructure is up to date and safe, and therefore I will be definitely supporting this.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Hess. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Praedel?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item H4, COO Lamb.
Adoption of an ordinance authorizing water supply system revenue bonds, Series 2025B, in the amount not to exceed $101,180,000.
Wow. Anyone on the Commission? Once again, this is not a brand new item for us. We've had a committee of the whole. We've talked about this at regular business meetings. However, this is a significant investment, no doubt, perhaps the single biggest investment we've ever made in our water system. Any questions? Commissioner Decker? No? Okay. Vice Mayor Hess.
Sure. I see Steve Vicenzi here, and I'm just going to ask him to come up on behalf of the people of Kalamazoo, because this is a significant infrastructure and capital bond investment. So I think while it is less than the 130 that we approved before, this is good news, but if you could just kind of give us the bird's eye view of all of this, I'd appreciate it.
Sure, absolutely. So back in March when we approved the $130 million, that was for both the standard revenue bonds and also the drinking water bonds that we're approving or asking for approval tonight. Kind of made it easy. You've already approved all the projects between last meeting and this meeting, all the contracts that go into this bond. So that's a lot of what we've been doing. What I do really want to highlight is this bond is over 40 years at 2% interest. You know, standard bond over the same time frame would be 3.5% to 4% interest. And just to put that into numbers for people, that's going to be over $20 million in interest that we're not going to have to pay back. And then we also get $20 million in principal forgiveness on these projects. So $40 million savings by utilizing this program versus standard bonding that would then have to be paid back by the rate users, which is our citizens and our neighboring townships.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vicenzi. Any other questions? Okay, we're all set. Thank you. Seeing no other questions, now is the opportunity for anybody in the chambers who'd like to comment on this item. It's item H4. If so, please come forward, state your name, and whether you live in the city. Seeing no one, colleagues, the requested action is a motion to adopt the resolution. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Decker, supported by Commissioner Hoffman. Discussion, commissioners. All right, Commissioner Brado?
No, it's just, I feel like these moments, there's a lot of gravity in approving these amounts. But I mean, you look at even the time frame, I mean, it won't be paid off until 2065, so I'll be lucky if I'm alive when that's paid off. But I think just recognizing, we all recognize that, I think, and recognize that these aren't things that we can continue to kick down the road to future generations to tackle. We need to tackle these issues now because it will make us a far more resilient and thriving community for our kids and our grandkids if we do this now. So I will be supporting.
Thank you, Commissioner Brado.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have to agree with Commissioner Praedel on that. You know, we are spending a lot of funds, especially for things that, you know, we are required as government to do, which is make sure our community has safe drinking water. And I know Director Baker, that is very important to him, and us being able to do these infrastructure upgrades is really going to be a testament, and you say 20, 30, 40 years from now when we are no longer here. So I will support it.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any other discussion? I agree with you, and in particular, a comment about it, you know, being a moment of great gravity, because this is a large amount, and this represents a big investment. Something that's important for me to recognize is that, in essence, we are not spending this money, we are investing this money. A dollar spent here turns into a piece of pipe in the ground that's maybe replacing something that's 100 years old. And certainly over the last couple decades, it has become apparent to everyone in this country, I am sure, and Michigan, you know, contributed in a lot of ways to this awareness, how important it is and how serious and basic a responsibility it is to provide a safe, clean drinking water for everyone that lives in the city of Kalamazoo. I've been in this commission for a while. I remember there were times when we probably spent only $1 million in investing our infrastructure. And as anyone who owns anything, whether it's a car or a house, you know that if you don't upgrade and maintain, that ultimately at the end of the day, you're going to be spending more, or you will have a piece of property that no longer functions. So this is the work we're doing. I really appreciate all the effort on the city side to achieve the opportunity for some forgiveness, the very low interest rate, the long amortization period, which ultimately is what makes this affordable for us. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Decker.
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next is item H5.
Got it. Adoption of a resolution to participate in negotiations to create the Kalamazoo County Event Center Assessment District Authority. We don't have a presentation, but both Attorney Leal and Jane Ghosh from Discover Kalamazoo are here to answer questions if you have them.
Thank you so much, COO Lamb. Commissioners, questions for Jane Ghosh from Discover Kalamazoo on this particular item? Commissioner Pradel. Ms. Ghosh, appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
And being present for this.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I was just hoping you could maybe just share with the public why this makes sense to have a mutual partnership in this effort between both the county and the city of Kalamazoo versus just, the county going it alone.
Yes. So the way we're financing the facility is through the Event Center Financing Act, which was voted on by the hotels, and it passed with an overwhelming 82% of the vote. Therefore, the primary benefit of the facility needs to go to the hoteliers. They are ultimately the ones who are responsible for this 4% assessment. Under that enabling legislation, there were two options for the facility. One was for the county to proceed, and the other was for the facility to be operated and the assessment revenue to be managed by an authority created under Michigan law. And our recommendation to the county was that it be an authority for a couple of reasons. One was because the authority then can have representation of the hoteliers on the body, and since they are the payers in a sense, then that their position can be represented. And then the other is that obviously this facility will be, the first priority of the assessment revenue was to build the indoor sports facility, and with that being in the city of Kalamazoo, there are implications for the city as well, and it felt appropriate to ask the city and the county to form a joint authority.
Thank you. And then just another question as well. So if you're looking at the, I think it was in your packet that you presented last time, there was a portion, I'm trying to find it here really quick. It just talks about the operating revenues and operating expenses, and it looks like the first year there'd be a net operating income deficit, if you will. Second year would be a pretty thin. Then by year 3 and 4, there'd be projected net gain of income. I was just curious to hear in that year 1, year 2, let's say if it is negative, who ultimately is responsible for filling that gap?
Right. So the good news is that the assessment revenue started being collected on June 1st. So this year alone, we expect to have about $1.9 million of assessment revenue. And then there'll be further, a few million a year in 2026. And then coming into 2027, by the time the facility opens, in addition to, of course, the county has expressed willingness to bond for this facility. So some of that revenue will have to go to debt service. We're projecting a revenue ahead of debt service requirements, that revenue then can be used to pay off the operating deficit in the initial year or two.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Other questions, colleagues? All right.
Okay.
None? Okay, see none. Thank you. Thanks for being present. Appreciate that. Is there anyone in the chambers that would like to comment on this item H5? If so, please come forward, state your name, and whether you live in a city, you'll have 3 minutes. Seeing no one, Commissioners, the recommended action is a motion to adopt the resolution. Is there a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Decker.
Support.
Supported by Vice Mayor Hess. Further discussion, Commissioners? Nothing. I just, Yeah, Vice Mayor Hess?
Sure, I think this is a great opportunity for all of the youth in Kalamazoo. We talk about needing support for youth and support for families. This is an opportunity for folks to gather around sport and something physical and something positive. So it's in the city of Kalamazoo, and it's for the surrounding area of Kalamazoo County, but it's going to be a great opportunity, and it's in a great location for the people of Kalamazoo to be able to use this for sports like volleyball, basketball, and the indoor grass area, and any training, any athletic training. I continue to believe that sport is a great way of delivering education, of instilling values and morals and all kinds of lifelong lessons. So I definitely am happy that we're supporting this.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Hess. Any other comments? I just wanted to follow up on this a bit. I'd really like to offer our thanks and gratitude to Discover Kalamazoo, oftentimes our partner in this work, an entity that represents the entire county of Kalamazoo, and create a model that now can seek to be self-supporting by working through this effort to have a millage be passed that actually is, generally speaking, not falling on those who live in Kalamazoo, but more on those who visit Kalamazoo. And I really appreciate that model. Sometimes these kinds of centers are created and the fallback is general fund, and that is not the situation here. So I appreciate all the effort on that. It's taken the work in terms of how will this be funded, the design work, all the effort to put all this together, which is no small effort at all. And I do agree with you, Vice Mayor Hess, is that it gives an amazing opportunity for groups here in Kalamazoo that are youth-supporting groups who want to take advantage of some fantastic new facilities that will be available to do that in a large scale. So thank you for your efforts. Thank all your team, please, very much. Clerk Borland, please call the roll.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Decker.
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next, reports and legislation. COO Lamb.
Yes, thank you. I've asked Chief Boyson to come up and give us a couple of updates. Obviously, we had a very, very difficult weekend with a number of shootings. He's going to provide an update, not only what happened, but really what the department's response is doing and will continue to do to address the surge in violence. Thank you, Chief.
Well, Chief Boyson, thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you, Mayor and Vice Mayor and Commissioners and City leadership. Thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. As CO Lamb said, the night of July 4th was a very difficult night for our community and for our officers that were working that night. While many people were out enjoying the 4th of July holiday with barbecues and spending time with their families and fireworks, we had some people who chose to pull out guns and commit violent acts and harm others. As we mentioned, we responded to 4 different shootings on the 4th of July. The first one was about 11:50 p.m. The last one was at 4 a.m. And there were a total of 8 shooting victims in those 4 incidents. One person was sadly killed, and another is currently in critical condition. The other 6, the injuries were relatively minor, which is we're very fortunate that more people weren't seriously injured or killed because in 3 of these 4 incidents, there were multiple shooters involved. This was not a shooting incident. These were shootouts, and we found lots of casings. Again, this level of gun violence is unacceptable, and we are all outraged by this behavior. So since these incidents, my staff has been working around the clock to gather evidence and identify those individuals who are involved in participating in these events. And it's not just us, but our street outreach team is working very hard alongside of us, engaging with the family members of some of these youth that were involved. We know we had at least 2 juveniles involved in these events. One was 17 years old and the other one was a 15-year-old. So they've been working hard to engage with the family with those. those. And so some of the groups that work alongside us are in this room tonight, and we do appreciate their efforts as well. In addition to that, we're increasing our patrols this week and into the weekend. This is really an all-hands-on-deck approach, so I'm pulling officers from other assignments and tasking them with this because we have to get a handle on this. We know that a small number of people are driving these shootings, and this back and forth retaliation has got to stop. People who do this put our entire community at risk, and we do appreciate the tips that are coming in, but we need more of them. We know that there were a lot of witnesses to these shootings, in particular the shooting at Douglas and Patterson. There were literally hundreds of eyewitnesses that were there, and we need some of those folks to come forward. Again, this no snitching rule, that really needs to stop, because this is not snitching. You are helping protect not only the community, but your own selves and your own family members, because again, this puts all of us at risk. So we just ask, if you know something, come forward. You can either call our Detective Bureau at 269-337-8139. If you don't want to leave your name, you want to remain anonymous, you can always call Silent Observer. That number is 269-343-2100. You can also go to, online at www.kalamazoosilentobserver.com or through the app at P3 Tips, again, to submit things anonymously if that's what you like. But again, we have some tips coming in, but we need a lot more. So the night was very discouraging, but I just want to reiterate that I have total confidence in my team and their ability. They are working hard, and not just my team, but I have total confidence in our community partners who are working very hard alongside of us, and I can assure you that together we will get a handle on this, but again, we do need the community to do their part and come forward and help us with information as well. So.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Any questions for the Chief at this time? All right, thanks again. Thanks for all the efforts of your team as well. CEO Lamb.
Just a few more things. You started off, Mayor, by talking a little about public comment. We certainly can't go through and address every single item, but a couple things I wanted just to point out in terms of concerns about road conditions. Certainly we're aware we have a lot of work to do on our roads. You'll see the orange cones go up. It's a work in progress, but if you see parts of the road that are concerning or anything you want to report, you can call 311 to put in a report. If it's a huge pothole, you're concerned about safety, you can also submit information online. Certainly we appreciate the input, but just know our crews are working hard to try to stay on top of it, but we appreciate those comments. Also, there was a question raised about Foundation for Excellence and where funding goes. We have a very, very helpful tool on the city's website. If you search on Foundation for Excellence, there's an investment tool that tracks every single dollar that the Foundation for Excellence has invested in the city of Kalamazoo. You have the ability to break it down by neighborhood, break it down by activity, break it down by the tax savings, break it down by the budget stabilization, as well as aspirational projects. So certainly if you've got questions about how Foundation for Excellence dollars are impacting our community, I would urge you to start looking at that tool, and if you've got questions, certainly there's contact information for people to get more details on how FFE funds have been invested. Lastly, just comments and questions about information on the city manager search. I'll certainly pass along the comments I heard tonight asking for more information on process, for timeline, how can we get a landing page that has all the information accessible. Certainly we'll talk with him, and I know that he'll be working with the committee to get information up and ready and available for people when they need it, so thank you for that.
Thank you, CEO Lamb. I just want to add a little something to your FFE remarks, is that the meetings of the Foundation for Excellence Board are public meetings, and those minutes are available. Is that same place on the city webpage that you could find the report?
Yes, if you just search FFE, you'll have information for all of the documents, all of the minutes, the meetings, when they are, what transpires. There's a lot of good information on there, as well as staff contact information, who are really more than happy to answer any questions people have about it.
Thanks again, I appreciate that. Now is the opportunity for commissioner comments. Commissioner Wilson.
Thanks, Mayor. Soraya Robinson, age 47. Martavion Perry Bennett, 21. Jerome Harvey, 32. Xavier Harris, 21. Michael Richard Powers, 42. DeQuavion Brown, 29. Montine Riley, 27. a 34-year-old man whose name has not yet been released, who was killed over the weekend. And then Chad Watkins, 35, a former classmate of mine and Kalamazoo resident who lost his life yesterday after an altercation in Battle Creek. Still processing his death, which is why I've been a little quiet today. But I'd like to send my prayers and condolences to the families of everyone I mentioned that has lost their lives to gun violence in our community this year. Too often we mention gun violence statistics and forget that there are real lives attached to these names and the trail of grieving families that follow. I had the chance to attend a very passionate forum discussion about gun violence, its impact, and potential solutions hosted by Straight Motivation. While the conversations were tough, the overall theme was that our community is tired of gun violence and eager to find a solution. But I was a bit saddened to learn that there still exists a mistrust of KDPS's ability to protect and serve. I want to reassure the community that we are working hard to keep the city safe and improve community trust, but we cannot do it without your help, as our chief just mentioned. If you see something, please say something. If you have an idea or concern, please reach out. For those who may be uncomfortable contacting KDPS, again, as Chief mentioned, there are several organizations that are willing to serve as intermediaries to assist you, some being GVI and the community advocates within the KDPS. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Are there commissioners who would like to make comments this evening? Vice Mayor Hess.
Sure. Thank you, Chief Boyson, for the report out. Thank you, Commissioner Wilson, for saying the names. I'd like to give gratitude to our public safety officers and our pastors on patrol who responded to these events on Friday night to continue to try and keep us safe. The key word for KDPS is that they reacted. And what Commissioner Wilson just talked about was being proactive. We have to be proactive in our community and create better community, more community, and a community that speaks up when they see something and they say something. So I just saw on the Channel 3 News, they interviewed someone after the weekend's events, and he just said, stop the shooting. It's easy to say, and it's hard to do. It takes a community effort. Also, big gratitude out to public services, especially all the workers who are outdoors in the heat and humidity, public services and Parks and Rec. I'd like for you all to make sure that you have received your water quality report for 2024. This is key. We want to make sure so much of our investment that we talked about this evening was for water and water quality. And Michigan and Kalamazoo, there are no violations, and what I can see and hear, safe, quality drinking water. If I do anything up here on the dais, I hope it's provide people of Kalamazoo with safety, whether it's public safety or water safety or safety on the roads. Those are major things that we need to work on. And as Reverend Zomer prayed at the beginning, let's have mutual respect and caring and love of community for all of us. Just an update. I was going to provide an update about our process, about our city manager process. What I only have right now is that the city, our city staff will be in touch with Pamela from Raftelis on Wednesday of this week, and further updates will go out after that. We will certainly look at creating a transparency page for what's going on and when that's going to be happening. So really, you know as much as we know at this point. And lastly, I know that Mayor Anderson has talked about us as a commission and who we are as people and how he respects us all. Again, the mutual respect, caring, and love of community coming out here. But one of the most caring and respectful and love of community people that I know is sitting right here before us at the dais. Mayor Anderson has done more than most people in this town for creating housing and opportunity for people in the city. So he's definitely been a rock for this commission and a wise counsel, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. That means a lot. Commissioner Pradel.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate everyone speaking up about gun violence. There's a number of us on the dais who grew up in Kalamazoo, attended public schools in Kalamazoo, and I would bet you'd be hard-pressed for any of us who grew up in Kalamazoo. I went to Kalamazoo Central, K Central, Norix, all right. But you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody who grew up in this community, even who are on the younger side of the scale, that haven't encountered classmates, friends that haven't been impacted by gun violence in this community. And you hear about reductions in gun violence. I mean, to me, the goal should always be getting to zero. I'm so grateful for the co-founders who are from Lean on Healing here tonight to talk about that. And when they were talking about how trauma is generational, and it's going to take that healing work to really stop this, because it really does reverberate through the generations. You see it so much with so many people we grew up with. And Commissioner Wilson, I'm really sorry to hear about one of your classmates losing him this weekend as well. To talk also as well, just to share as transparently as we can about the ref telesearch process for the city manager. Like Vice Mayor Hess mentioned, HR is now in communication this week with the search firm because they had to get through all the signing all the agreements and everything to get to that point, but that is happening, and we should know more details after that. But we are planning to try to set up weekly meetings with the subgroup and try to make sure that the search committee can be as part of as many of those, if not all of those, as possible. I know one of the two core tenets that we heard from the commission when we were talking about this process is, number one, making sure it's nationwide search. And the other part of it is try to find as many opportunities to, elicit input from community as well. And so even from the early stages, talking about trying to create feedback forums, making sure that there is opportunity to have meet and greets with the candidates. At least for me personally, that's a priority to make sure that that continues and happens with that process. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Pradel. I think you can almost always count on the fact from Commissioner Wilson, who often does not necessarily take advantage of commissioner comment time, to make, when he does, to make a very important statement. And I feel like because it was solely from the heart, it's like we opened this meeting with an invocation, and we're closing this meeting with an invocation. There's no words that can ever adequately describe the tragedy and the effects that it has on lives across the entire community. On a somewhat different note, I just want to welcome Jonathan Yarborough, who I've known for a long time, and starting, I think, at a place where I spend a lot of time, which is the YMCA, where you were employed for a while. And once you get to the age I am, everyone looks like a teenager. You still do to me, but I know you're not. And you've left Kalamazoo, and you've had other responsibilities, and now you are back in a very important and critical role. So thank you for coming back to Kalamazoo and for stepping into this important work, and I look forward to positive collaboration with NACD. So thank you so much for coming down and introducing yourself. Appreciate you very much. I love you, Kalamazoo. We're adjourned.